Alright, aloha family, Spencer-Mack here. Just want to jump on, catch up, say hi. This is one of my talk story episodes, one of those more chill, take your time conversations, covering multiple topics. Mainly just catching up, letting you guys know some new insights that I have, some things that have changed, and a little more about me. Hopefully a few people will jump online during this and I can answer some questions. That's what I enjoy the most, is the interaction and the connection. The comments and the people that I've met through this channel are fantastic, and I love just the shared drive that we all have to improve ourselves. And that's something I'd like to start with. Having a gym or a school or a group of people that you get to train with can be profoundly impactful. Having some kind of community organization that you work with. For me, the exercise is key, especially in times of high stress, to go put yourself into some serious training and just exhaust that so that your mind has to be present. It just clears the slate. And to be able to attend a school, I found a gym up the street that was just this hidden diamond in the rough. It's hilarious how sometimes the perfect thing is right under your nose and you don't even know where it is. But just this really nice school, got great gear, great people, and it's fascinating because it's actually, it goes by the name of Trinity Fitness, and it's actually part church, part gym. Mainly gym. Like, they don't push any kind of religion on people. No spirituality is, presumed or needed to be expressed by other people or believed. But they do open it and close it with prayer circles, with just sharing some motivation. Normally some scripture, a good quote, or a story. But aside from that, it's just extremely great to have another family, a group of people to train with. Because when you have that environment and you have the energy of a collective to put the energy to express it all out there with other individuals, it really is just more satisfying. And so I highly recommend that. Finding a good, good to hear, finding a good crew you get to train with and diving in. In all honesty, back when I lived in Tallahassee, I was in a dark space. I was selling drugs for a little while. Weed, nothing too crazy most of the time. And the direction I was heading in wasn't that good. But when I was around 18, 17, I found a Kung Fu school. And a lot of my friends, we all went there together. And I made more friends through there. And I have friends there that are still friends to this day. And it really turned my life around. Just to have a collective community scenario where you get to contribute, help other people, you get to learn and be taught by people, and you're all working towards a shared vision. It's really valuable, so I want to share that. Highly recommend finding some form of that in your environment. So that being said, I found a nice place to train, so I'm going to be hitting weight more often, probably training harder than I would have by myself, and it'll be nice to see the way that affects me. Another big thing on my mind, I'm looking to simplify. Like, I'm in transition, right? Just changing job, dropping more into meditation to get clarity as to what service I can contribute to the whole. Because no matter how healthy you get, no matter how dialed your diet is, if you're not contributing to the whole of humanity, to your family, to the community, you will never be fulfilled. You won't ever get that sustenance, that nectar that comes with doing selfless acts. As corny as it may sound to many people, when we are really in service, it vitalizes us. It gives us more energy than we would have had if we were acting for our own benefit. So there we go again, just highly recommend gaining clarity in what your service is. So my mantra for the day, having a question for the day as a mantra that I like to loop just as continuously as possible, is I pray to know my service and contribution to the community. That's where my focus is right now, getting more clarity on my contribution. And I'm in an interesting place because I do love sharing knowledge about health and well-being. And I do work with clients individually, which I love to do. But my honest perception of the scenario is that it's so rapidly evolving. You have to be open to the fact that we're all learning. And to prescribe something, a blanket statement for an individual, just never really works. So it's hard for me to push any diet in particular. I like to just share information and let people make their own choices. The people that I work with one-on-one, based on their environment, based on their current circumstance and health, based on their goals, I just share information as I've learned it in my studies to help formulate a lifestyle path or protocol or approach that could be most supportive. It's up to us as individuals to follow through on that. And so in the realm of diet, I'm going to go back to the mundane here. In the realm of diet, recently, one misnomer that I had about the ketogenic diet is that you can't do high protein. Namely, I had experienced that in my own right because testing my blood sugar, if I went real high protein, I'd have higher glucose the next day. However, with long-term adaptation, here's a fascinating thing that happens with protein. When you eat sugar, you're going to trigger insulin. So you're going to store what you eat. You will gain fat every time you trigger insulin. You'll also amp up, it's an anabolic hormone. You'll also grow muscle. When you eat fat, you secrete glucagon, which tells your body to secrete, as amongst other actions, to start gluconeogenesis, that it has to produce its own sugar because you're not getting any. Now, when you have low insulin chronically and you eat protein, it doesn't trigger insulin, and the protein will be used because it gets broken down into acetyl-CoA, which has multiple potentials as an energy source. Now, if you have high insulin and you eat a bunch of protein, you're going to store it. If you have high insulin and you eat a bunch of fat, you're going to store it. If you have low insulin, you eat fat, you eat protein, you're not going to store it. You're going to turn it into energy, anything that's excess in the sense of protein. So that's really fascinating. And I basically learned that by trying to comprehend the carnivore diet and the fact that these people can be eating 200 to 300 grams of protein a day and still be in ketosis. Now that's just because you're chronically deprived of carbohydrates. Basically, you can use carbs as a signal if you want to gain weight. It's almost that straightforward. If you're looking to lose weight, cut out the carbs. Doing it vegan is very difficult because when you're eating a bunch of fat on a vegan diet, one theory is we need carnitine to turn fat into energy. Carnitine is found in meat. We do produce it, but potentially if your diet is high in fat and you're vegan, you may need more than you're actually producing. So those are some things to meditate on there. Another side of the protein, another big piece that I'm seeing when it comes to longevity, one of the reasons that I avoided animal proteins, starting to rain and there's trucks, hopefully the audio is still good. One of the reasons to avoid animal products is because they're high in methionine. It's an amino acid that has been shown that if we restrict methionine in animal studies, it will greatly lengthen lifespan. Recently, there have been some studies demonstrating if we raise the intake of glycine, that it lengthens lifespan to a great degree in animal studies. Now, apparently, the glycine balances out the methionine. Glycine has many other beneficial effects. It's anti-inflammatory, really good for the joints. It is the primary amino acid in collagen. So if you're looking at diet from a carnivorous perspective, if you're just eating the meat and you're not getting the bone broth or eating the ligaments, connective tissue, things like that, the amino acid balance is not as ideal as it could be. Glycine, or bone broth, or collagen can really help bring a balance to that. And also it's really just beneficial for your skin, for your hair, for your joints. That's another note I'd like to say. I've been eating higher protein. I've been, on most days, having my food and having a third or half of it around 2 o'clock. I'm looking to satiate myself to such a high degree with protein, with minerals, that my drive, my ability to fast throughout the day and employ some form of caloric restriction doesn't take any effort. That's what I'm going for now. And high protein is extremely valuable in that because it is the most satiating macronutrient. So my current approach is just higher amounts of protein. I'm relaxing my window until I find, if I do, I reach a state that I don't have any genuine hunger, or I can stretch it without any kind of issue. So that's my current protocol. And also balancing the protein, which can be really acidic, with the high intake of minerals, like I do in my diet, like I do in my beverages, like I've shared, is a very nice balance. I have to say, looking at the carnivorous diet and looking at the complexity at which I supplement to look to have complete nutrition, it does make the carnivorous diet attractive. However, because of my position, I find that what I'm doing could be a great service if I can, because I do know that with our greater understanding of amino acids, each individual amino acid has a profound effect, and we're just tapping the surface. We were always looking at essential amino acids, but there's all these non-essential or conditionally essential amino acids that when taken in larger dosage, like glycine, by the way, 10 grams a day is the recommended dose based on my current understanding, these amino acids, dosed at higher amounts, can have profound effects. So I believe with the understanding that we gain, because right now I see it clearly in my own expression, in my own experience, that higher protein and fat is just more ideal. It puts your body in a state that's more like fasting. It's anti-inflammatory, just has a surplus of benefits, less hunger, less insulin, less aging, from my perspective, from my studies. I'm always open to conflicting, contrasting studies. Please share. And so I'm looking to reproduce that. But like I said, it's really hard to do vegan. And it's also, when you look at the animal, they're at the top of the food chain. It took all of evolution to create this condensed form of food. It could be food, it can be food. And as I've said before, it's our unique human position that places us with these morals that separates different levels of creatures. I can kill a mosquito, but not a cow. It's a deep philosophical question that each individual has to answer themselves. However, what I'm learning from that diet and studying that is leading me in refining my own practice, which right now is almost like you ever heard of Soylent? It's like everything you need in a shake. I'm basically creating that, just a refined version. And it certainly is a process in comparison. But because, in comparison to just eating meat, going to the butcher. But because we have the technology to do these things, the potential to create something even more profound and beneficial is there. So that's my current study and practice in the dietary realms. High protein, supplementing specific amino acids in smoothies. I'm not even taking any fiber. That's another thing from the carnivore diet I've really received. Most people's digestive disturbances are due to fiber. There's another type of diet called FODMAP, or low FODMAP. It's basically low fermentable fiber diet. Because that's the source of most people's issues. The level and the necessity of feeding the microbiome in a specific way could be overdrawn. Eating a lot of meat does acidify the microbiome, but perhaps that helps with the digestion and processing of both fats and meat. A more acidic internal environment boosts the absorption of minerals. So that's interesting. So those are some of the things I've been meditating on, my friends. Hitting that gym, up in the glycine, just got some in the mail today. Playing with amino acid ratios, hitting the fats, and a lot of meditation and prayer. A lot more practice and cultivation with focus and concentration, because our power is only as powerful as our ability to concentrate. Think about the word concentrate. Look at the image of a flashlight versus a laser. There are lasers that can burn holes through a wall, through metal, across the sea. It's concentration of our energy, and we concentrate our presence when we have the ability to concentrate on anything that we deem important. Say we're trying to solve a problem, or listen to a friend, or get out of a dangerous scenario, or spar. We need to be able to concentrate. So that is the primary practice, is the cultivation of that. I like a form of Tritaka meditation. I've done a video on that in the past. It's single pointedness of gaze, clearing the mind, relaxing the body. Those are the three primary. You get your body still, you empty your mind, and you relax, letting go of any kind of tension. Because ultimately, staying with the present moment is a very subtle action. It's a sensitive relationship. It's a dance to be able to flow with the changes of now. We always want a fixed solution, but the solution is to be fixed to the present moment. And that is an art. So clarity and really cultivating a powerful mind, strengthening my brain and connections of my neurons with exercise, with the right diet, with certain supplements, stimulating brain-derived neurotropic growth factor, exercise, meditation, and good sleep. Cool, guys. That's about the overview of how I've been. And I have to say, I shared that book in my last video about the power of prayer and meditation and getting control of your thoughts. And so I've been working on finding my next form of livelihood. And so that was my mantra. I go on walks early in the morning and in the evening, middle of the day sometimes, and having that mantra. Within 2 days, I got one of the craziest phone calls with one of the most out there job offers I've ever gotten. And I can't share what it is right now. In the future, perhaps. But it was so outlandish in the way that it was portrayed to me was just, is this real? However, it still has definitely taken some meditation and some reflection to know if I want to do it. So, more meditation, big decisions are being made, clarity, presence, and sensitivity to what's real are necessary in what I'm cultivating. Awesome, guys. Hope this has been of use to you guys. Let me know what's going on in your world, what you connect with, what you've heard, what you'd like to share. And if you're watching this after, please share comments down below. Let's connect, subscribe, notifications for when I do more of these lives in the future so you can jump on. Because I enjoy it when it's more live stream. It just makes me more engaged. So you guys, you're hearing me out about the community. It's key to have that right team, finding the right people to work with. When we connect the dots, we synergize. You never know what somebody has to offer. So cultivating the skill of that sociable nature to be able to connect with an individual and go deep to find how you can both help each other. Valuable, valuable skill that can rapidly accelerate your growth, because it's when we synergize with other people that we grow. Corporations are so powerful because they're organizations of many people. So we have to learn how to organize ourselves. All right. You also take on the desires and motivations and the knowledge, right, of the people you hang out with. So choose wisely. You know, the internet helps you to be able to hang out with people and absorb information and character traits, but it's not as good as going and sitting around a fire with some elders. Something interesting, I have 4 different friends right now that are between 70 and 73. These elders in my life that have just, they're awesome and hilarious and super open and have just really been helping me. Elders love to help. People love to help. So if you're in a tough spot, go find some family, even if it's of service at a retirement home or something like that. Go talk story. There is a wellspring of knowledge that can save you a lot of effort. What do you use for protein? Pea, rice, soy, and I'm actually trying whey for the first time in some time, mainly because I'm not afraid of methionine anymore, and it's very high in branched chain amino acids, and a combination of whey and soy seem to be one of the most well-rounded. I'm still comparing all the amino acid ratios, but the better amino acid ratio that I can get, the less specific amino acids I'm going to need to supplement to hit my ideal ratios, and that's going to just make things simpler. It has to be simple. I have to find a simple solution or I'm not going to stick to it, and other people won't either. So that's why I've opened up to utilizing whey, trying it for the first time, going to see how it feels for me. Eat, plants, vibration, about choosing. Isn't it interesting that the word is eat? Sounds pretty straightforward. And vibrationally, you know, I used to think like it's lower vibration to eat animals, I heard. But if you think about how high a vibration a cow has to be, that level of consciousness is far higher than eating some cabbage. Just putting that one out there as well. Thank you, Kim. Thank you for the thanks. It goes a long way. Utilize your tribe. Amen, Luciano. It's key. It's key. That's the only way we're going to get through this, is teaming up collectively. You said high protein vegan diet was hard. Why is that? High keto vegan is hard, mainly because the types of fats that you're limited to, and protein wise, you do have to supplement a lot of protein powders. If you're going to try and get it all straight from food, you're going to end up with a high amount of fiber, which right now I'm looking to just be extremely efficient and minimizing, if not eliminating, fiber. That's just my current approach. And if you're going for 200 to 300 grams of protein a day, you want to get that vegan, you're going to need to either eat a shite ton of soy, which I wouldn't go over 7 servings a day, which is like 70 grams of protein. It varies. If it's an isolated soy protein, you can probably do more because there's less isoflavones in it. But that's one of the reasons that it makes it so difficult. You have to supplement protein powder, and then you have to be wary of the amino acid ratios. You might want to add branched chain amino acids or lysine if you don't have a complementary blend of, say, rice and pea and soy, something like that. You're going to be low in normally branched chain amino acids or leucine, or lysine, I should say. I've been on the almond raw protocol, and I noticed peanut butter sandwiches after my dinner give me gas. Especially if don't put grape jelly on it. Goddamn. Peanut butter jelly sandwiches. I love almond raw style. I have to say that guy's a legend. Combining is still important. I do. For me, perhaps almond is cultivated. You know, it depends on how much you eat, how well your body's adapted, because you have to eat at the same time every day to really have the rhythm right, so that your organs are in tune and secrete, you know, the digestive acids ahead of time, have the enzymes stocked. You cultivate a better ability to digest more and more of the things that you eat regularly. You'll start to produce more of those particular enzymes, and then your microbiome will adapt to be able to ferment, process, absorb those particular foods you eat. So consistency is key, and then quantity is key. If you're just eating too much, you're not going to be able to handle it. It is going to ferment. You are going to have gas. Fiber in itself ferments. You're going to get gas, bloating, perhaps some kind of discomfort, and that's why I'm working to eliminate fiber personally, which right now the way that I'm doing it, I'm living on basically it's like Soylent, like a straight liquid diet, and I've been having like one meal a week out, going for dinner with friends, and my body handles it wonderfully. I can eat, I've been eating salads. One of them had some cheese on it, some nuts. Didn't bother me at all. So my digestion is fine if I throw something in there, but I'm looking just to streamline, simplify, really know what is the essential. Let's just make this super simple, straight to the point, completely nurturing, puts the least amount of distress on the digestive tract, and can have the amount of nutrients necessary to replenish any stores that might be in need. So yeah, the gas thing on that is a difficult thing. Oh, mad, that's what happens for sure. Most people go keto for that, and keto you tend to actually lower the fiber unless you're eating a ton of greens. It's a lot of options. We all got to seek it out for ourselves. But thank you for the question, and any more that might have raised, please ask. Cheers, Aaron. Thank you. So you're not a vegan anymore. That might lose you some followers. Yeah. Yes, Buck. That is a truth. You might lose some followers. And it's interesting how much of a moral or a fear of judgment of others that I've built from this, having this platform. And my origin of being vegan was never from the sense of protecting animals. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to kill them, but I got into it for the reasoning of being as healthy as physically possible. And following that mindset, I've found myself in a land of supplementation, lots of supplements. But don't get me wrong, I'm not looking for just good health, I'm looking for optimal potential, my highest possible potential. And that has put me in a place where I've needed to supplement. And so yeah, I started taking whey, and so that ends my vegan crusade there. Can't use that key term anymore. It's an interesting thing, and who knows, I might end up eating carnivore. But honestly, my path is just out of me finding the highest level of thriving that I can. And I think it's a shame for a human is like the sweetest fruit on the tree of God right now. We're at the top of the food chain, and everything underneath us that has come before us has had to happen so that we could exist. We're at the very head of this line. And for us to be at such a state and then to limit our potential based on not wanting to follow something that may be our nature, because humans consume meat. You go to indigenous tribes, they consume animal products. People who have had to learn how to live when there's no grocery store and you have to live off the land consistently find that they need animal products. I have stated that since I've been vegan the whole time. I wouldn't be a vegan if I didn't supplement, if I couldn't supplement. And so that automatically puts me in a position to where I see that perhaps it's more my nature to consume meat. However, perhaps my mind and my understanding of reality can put me in a place that I can evolve beyond even having to do that. Because there's certainly a part of me that doesn't want to kill. I don't. I've stuck on this for quite some time, and that is a piece of it for sure. But also the other end is the potential to even outdo nature's best, in a sense. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, that'll lose you some followers, man. And that's a tough one. We can't do things based on fears of what other people will think. We have to follow our hearts, follow the way we feel, and be willing to be open to change, especially when you've been in these mindsets and these dogmas for years. It can be really difficult to get out of them. Like, I see people who have completely identified with certain lifestyles that I can see are deteriorating them, but they're so in it. It's hard to get out. What are your dreams like? Do you recognize any changes adjusting to your lifestyle? Cool. Awesome question. I appreciate you, Dr. Raphael. Dre Raphael. So, adjusting to lifestyle dreams, that's an interesting one. They've definitely been a bit more vivid. I've kind of had some late nights, fires, shared some beverages with some gentlemen at a bar last night. And so whenever I wake up around 5 to the alarm clock, I don't have as much clarity in the last couple days. However, the dreams are certainly there. A fascinating thing about dreams, when I was really deep in the Amen protocol and hitting one of my highest strides ever, lowest caloric intake, I stopped dreaming. And I talked to Amen about that, and he had some fascinating feedback. I always liked dreaming and lucid dreaming as a potential to practice my ability to create, because lucid dreaming gives you an opportunity to create your reality in a practice kind of manner. And I believe that experience can be applied to this world. I ultimately want to go lucid in this life. That's the ultimate goal, to wake up here. And so I saw lucid dreaming as practice for that. Amen shared a Freudian perspective that dreams are unprocessed emotional desires. And that's interesting, because when you fast a lot and you can't eat and you're really lean and clean, you are forced to process all of your emotions. So when you end up in a place where you no longer are avoiding things, you don't have to play out, not that you're necessarily avoiding, but you no longer have a build-up, a backup of all these feelings and experiences. You don't have to process them. There's less REM sleep, more deep sleep, and you're living your dream in life, I think. You're fulfilling yourself in life, so you don't need the dreams. So I want to share that balanced potential perspective there. But however, I am dreaming right now. So, got some work to do. Yeah. I did a juice fast of 17 days, and it's the best I've felt. But I can't live like that forever. I'm struggling to get that level of health back with regular food. Dre, brother, I hear you on that end. The experiences that I got to when I fasted, different levels of fasting, were so profound. That's one of the reasons I keep coming back to really working and refining my diet. The Amen protocol, when I was talking about riding that high line, where I wasn't even dreaming, sleep was on point, energy was profound, clarity, insight, serendipity in life. The Amen protocol is the closest answer to that I've found. And basically I am just on a refined version of that right now for myself. When you can really just nail the calories, have all of your nutrients there without excess, you experience that state in a sustainable manner. That is the profoundly exciting potential of this way of living. Consuming just enough. It's like walking on a tightrope. But you can live in that state. The longest period I've maintained, it was 3 weeks. It was insane. It really was. That's why it stands out in my mind. Now, I've had 2 periods of that, and it's difficult. Like I've said, I had my electrolyte deficiency throw me off. So there's a lot of learning. There's a lot of evolving that has to take place over time. Cheers, brother. Yeah, hopefully, the funny thing is it's so evolving that I evolve so much and change things relatively consistently. It makes me hesitant as to put out any kind of solid form, Even with intermittent fasting. Say you're going to do 2 meals a day. For some people, it may be better to have one meal in the morning, one in the evening. So to put out a blanket protocol doesn't seem to be my purpose right now. Working with people individually, because of the diversity of background that I've had in experimentation and individuals I've gotten to work with, that's more of my game and my ability to share right now. Hopefully I find something that I can just write down and put out there. Not just to contribute, but, well, yeah, to contribute. Don't worry about the haters, says Chris. Amen, brother. Spreading the love. I love that, man. I love that. That's the focus. Yeah, interesting. You know, Dan, I don't think Dan would appreciate you doing the carnivore diet. I love Dan. He's a legend, man. Love that guy. He's thriving. He's kicking ass. So we all got to find our own. It certainly is interesting, and the simplicity of the carnivore diet is extremely appealing. Now here is a flip perception of it I'd like to share. Say you were eating meat. If everybody switched to that, that's not sustainable. But if we wanted to do it in a sustainable manner, biodynamic farming is the solution. It's an understanding of the entire organism of the farm, of the land, as a sustainable cycle when every element works together. So if you did go carnivore, I pray that you support farms that create an environment like that, because what they're doing is raising animals that you will support the raising of animals that will fertilize the ground, give rise to more plants, a higher diversity of insects, bees, other plants, and food can be grown there. It's a cycle, and we need all of it. So if we wanted to do it sustainably, which we would have to, if, say, everybody chose to do it, we would then be forced to understand the entire cycle, and which ultimately would nurture the earth. It would nurture the planet, done in a sustainable, non-greedy manner where you're not taking more than you need. So I find that's an interesting lesson that we have in that. We have to understand the microbiology of the soil and the grasses and the foods that grow after that, and how to nurture the animals. Like, to take care of an animal takes wisdom and experience to understand how to nurture that, because you have to understand the environment. So that's a flip side perspective I might be able to share there with you guys. Cool, my friends. 22 people watching. That's my favorite number. I'll tell you what. I pull a I Ching. Sometimes when I'm just lost, I'm in space of too many potential decisions, I do use divination systems. One of my favorite is the I Ching. The I Ching. It's one of the oldest books in Chinese history, and it is a divination system. And you throw coins in order to draw a hexagram and see what that hexagram unfolds into. And I happened to pull 22, which was adorning, taking care of my stuff, really cleaning up. But I'm not going to dive too far into my reading there. But I recommend you check out the I Ching. It's spelled I Ching, C-H-I-N-G. Fascinating stuff. And on top of that, if you haven't read the Tao Te Ching, the T-A-O-T-E-J-I-N-G, sometimes spelled with a D, D-A-O-D-E. The Tao Te Ching is one of the most excellent philosophical texts of cultivating that ability to remain present right here, right now. It's like riding a wave. We can't stay stuck on any aspect of our character, any aspect of our diet, any aspect of what kind of financial situation we might be in, what kind of relationship. It is constantly changing, and our ability to adapt and remain present with that change directly impacts how well we profit, benefit, adapt, enjoy the ride. You can actually enjoy it. You can learn to surf it, or you can bust your ass and almost drown a few times, but you can learn to surf it. And it's this amazing experience that when you're following and riding it, and you're not trying to dictate it, but you are dictating the choice to be present with the unfolding of it, it takes you exactly where you want to go. Where you want to go and where God and where life wants you to go are the same place. And cultivating the ability to just be present with right now and do it to the highest of your potential, you'll just watch yourself riding the sweetest barrel all the way home, baby. It's nice. Can't say I stay there, but it's a place that I love to be. Well, cool, guys. What up? Dan, how's it going, brother? Just went on a rant. Some time, bro. Hope you got time to rewatch it. Really appreciate feedback. If you guys haven't subscribed, subscribe, share, connect. Like I said, get out there, link up with your community. See if you can find a group to train with. I have to say, being in a relatively stressful scenario in my life, when I can go train and exercise and push myself to the edge, it's like such a relief. It's the only thing that works for me. I was talking to one of the brothers up at the school today. He's got cancer, some kind of throat cancer. He didn't say thyroid, but it's in his throat. And they've been hitting him with radiation for months. And the poor dude said he hadn't slept in a year. So he's been getting radiation on and off for a year. And he said to me that exercise was the only thing that works for him, just to find that peace. It's like you get to exhaust that energy, and it forces a level of presence when you push yourself to that edge like that. So I can't recommend finding some form of training that you love and just hitting it like it's medicine, like it's church. It's the best. All right, guys. Lots of love. Share the reflections. Let's keep the connection going. And until next time, guys, really appreciate it. Aloha.